Hello and welcome to the Gingerbet Golf Betting Insights YouTube video. US Open week, Torrey Pines South, cannot wait. This video I'm going to be covering off 4 outsider picks and 4 best bets for the week in the outright market. I'm going to try and keep this to 10 minutes maximum because this is a week that the sporting world is going to go nuts for. We've got the US Open, we've got Royal Ascot, we've got the Euros, so it's unlikely that you can spare much more than 10 minutes to listen into this. So I'm going to try and keep it short and succinct and get straight to the point. So let's kick off. If you want to skip to the end, I will be recapping all 8 selections there. So you will be able to do that, but I suggest you tune in for the full duration because you will pick up lots of little snippets that might enable you to narrow down my 8 into your chosen 2 or 3 picks for the week. So let's kick off. I'm not going to spend much time on the course today because there is plenty of areas that you can go and read about the course setup, how it will play, and I'm sure that there'll be plenty of people covering that. To keep it short, it will be a brute of a test, it'll be long, it'll be difficult, and it'll be a typical US Open, and I expect the winning score to be single digits under par. So, the first outsider of the week, he is a player that has a major record, let's get this right, 6th, 2nd and 8th in his last 3 majors. He's only played in 4 majors. He is 29th in the world rankings as we speak, and the last 10 winners of the US Open have all been in the top 30 in the world rankings. Not all my picks are there this week, but this one certainly does just scrape in the back door. He is an elite iron player, he's an elite driver of the ball, he's young, he's hungry, he has gained 2 strokes per round in his only visit to Torrey Pines South. First selection of the week, or first outsider of the week, Will Zalatoris. He's available at 50 to 1 with 8 places. The second outsider of the week, he is an Aussie. He's gains 1.6 strokes per ground on the field at Torrey Pines. He's got a win here. He's got numerous other good finishes here. I think he's got 5 top 10s from 13 visits. I'm just checking my notes before giving you that stat, including a win in 2020. He also is in the top 40 putters on Poana greens. He comes in slightly under the radar and not fully out of form, but not in the form of his life. Second outsider bet of the week, Mark Leishman. Quickly on to the third outsider bet of the week, and he is a player that had a win recently. He hits it miles off the tee. He's had 4 US Open visits, made 3 cuts and a best finish of 17th. He's trending in the right direction. His game is getting better and more consistent each and every year, and I think he has the ability to take down a major but certainly get a place at lucrative odds. He is also gaining 1 stroke per round on the field at Torrey Pines South, and that is not something that we should overlook this week. The third outsider bet and selection of the week will be Jason Kokrak, available at 75 to 1 with 8 places. So far we have Mark Leishman 66 to 1, 8 places. Kokrak 75 to 1, 8 places, and also Will Zalatoris 50 to 1 with 8 places. The fourth final outsider selection, the bonus selection, is an Englishman. It's Ryder Cup year. He'll be wanting to be in that team. His stats last week, albeit finishing 25th, he's 80% in driving accuracy over 4 rounds on a tough track. That was one of the top 5 in the field. I think that's going to be a key attribute this week, playing from the fairways. He's not got the best US Open form and doesn't have much Torrey Pines form, but I'm willing to overlook that because I think a tough test will play into his hands. He's an Englishman that's going to be wanting to, like I said, get into that Ryder Cup team come September, and the postman himself will be my 4th and final outsider selection for this week at the US Open. Quickly moving on now and to the outright selections, the bits that you all really tune in for, and I have decided to take a big leap of faith and avoid the most obvious people at the top of the market. So Jon Rahm, he's bound to be popular. He plays Torrey Pines South really, really well. He would have had a win 2 weeks back if he didn't have to withdraw from COVID. His performance in majors has been fantastic. However, at 11-1, he hasn't worn that t-shirt yet. He has not been there, bought that t-shirt at all. He's looked good, but he hasn't got over the line, and that's not what can be said for a couple of my selections in the outright market. So I'm sure he'll have his backers, and I won't put you off. I expect him to go close come Sunday evening, but I think at 11-1, he's easily overlooked for me. And that is the same for the top of the market. DJ, he'll be up there, 16-1 I think I saw this morning. He got backed in because of his good start at the new event on the PGA Tour last week. However, he only hit 50% of his fairways, 50% over 4 rounds. That is not good enough to take down a US Open, so he's overlooked easily. Anyway, enough of the people who can't win. You can look at that in the other YouTube video where I've reviewed the top 10 of the market, or the top 12 players in the market, and gave them comments and thoughts on each. I cover their US Open form, their current form, and their chances heading into this week. So if you haven't seen that video, please do take a look at that video on the YouTube channel. That's the Gingerbet YouTube channel. Do take a look. Right, the 4 selections. The headline selection of the week. This guy, he gains 1.5 strokes on the field at Torrey Pines South. He has 2 top 10s at the event, including a win earlier this year. He has 4 top 20s at the US Open, 4th in 2018, and he is 2nd in strokes gained in par 4 and in the top 10 in strokes gained around the green and scrambling in his last 50 rounds. They are stats not to be overlooked this week. He's also the 4th best putter in the world on the Poana greens, and unlike Mr. Rahm, he is a major champion. He's the Masters champion, in fact. The first selection of the week, that shadow of a doubt my headline pick, Patrick Reed, 35-1 he was. That's been snapped up, but he's now 25-1 10 places, or 30-1 8 places. You take your pick. Patrick Reed will be the headline selection for the US Open. On to the next selection. This guy, he is somebody that has been trending quite well of late. In fact, he comes here off a 2nd last week, where he was the first player for some time to shoot under par without recording a birdie in his round, and that's because he chipped in for eagle on 2 occasions. This guy has a game that suits a US Open. He hit 78% of his fairways last week over 4 rounds on a really tough driving track. I've always felt that a tough test was where he was going to shine through. He also is 9th in green regulations gained on over the last 50 rounds. I think he's 8th or 9th in the world rankings, and that's a stat that is that's something to consider this week. The last 10 US Open winners are all in the top 30 of the world rankings. He was 6th in the US Open in 2018, and like I say, Ryder Cup year. Recently married, the honeymoon period could bring him his first major win. Second selection of the week, 45-1, Tyrrell Hatton. Yes, that is right. Tyrrell Hatton is my second selection of the week. Shock to many, but I think that he's good, trending in the right direction, often strings good results together, and I think he will go well this week. That brings me on to my 3rd selection a week. There's a European theme to my picks this week. Tough tracks, tough courses, and I think that this test will suit the European challenge. This player, let me tell you, I'm just going to refer to my notes because there's plenty to say here. He's 8th event. He's 9th in 2015, 2nd in 2016. Gains 1.4 strokes on the field in Torrey Pines South. 3 top 10s in his last 8 starts, including a win. And he is 6th in bogey avoidance, 10th in green regulations gained over the last 50 round. Everything about his game is trending towards a win. I think that this guy, oh, by the way, unlike Mr. Rahm, and unlike many at the top of the market, he's got a major championship under his bag and has proven that he can perform under the most immense pressure, because his major championship, unlike where Rory McIlroy, the darling of Ireland, failed on the Open Championship in his homeland. This guy did not. He has been selected by me on 3 occasions in 2021, and in 2 of those he's rewarded us with place payouts. This week he's going to go one better. Third selection of the week, available at 50 to 1, 8 places, Shane Lowry. And the fourth and final selection of the week, sticking with the European theme, this player is going to win a major in my eyes, and this is the type of major they win. He's also got form at the Masters, but he plays really tough tests well. When there's a real emphasis on driving accuracy and iron play, this guy comes to the fore. He's 20th in the world rankings, which fits the criteria of being in the top 30 in the world. He's second in fairways gained over the last 50 rounds, and he was hitting 78% of his fairways, just like Tyrrell Hatton last week, where he finished nicely positioned mid-pack in the new event on the PGA Tour, which made his price stay where it was. He could easily fit into the outsider picks, but I think he has the chance to challenge for his first major trophy this week. He will be part of the Ryder Cup team later on in the year in September. He is a guy that I have a lot of faith in, and he has also, like Shane Lowry, rewarded us with a 90 to 1 place payout earlier on in the season when he probably should have won. The fourth and final outright selection of the week will be Matthew Fitzpatrick. So, to recap, the 4 outsiders of the week, we have Mark Leishman, Jason Cochran, Will Zalatorius, and, I'm looking for my notes, I've gone off the top of my head, Ian Poulter, the speculative bonus selection at 150 to 1 with 8 places. And then, in the outright market, the best bets are, without a shadow of a doubt, in order. Patrick Reed, 25 or 30 to 1 each way with 8 or 10 places respectively. Shane Lowry, 45 to 1, or 50 to 1, 8 places, 45 to 1 with 10 places each way. Matthew Fitzpatrick, as we've just touched on, 50 to 1, 8 and 10 places each way. And last but not least, we have, who is my last selection of the week? This is where you can tell these aren't edited. Tyrrell Hatton. He was the one that was not on the top of my mind, sorry, just right now. Tyrrell Hatton will be the final selection for the outright picks, available at 45 to 1, 8 places, coming into it in decent form, often strung good results together. They are my 8 picks, 4 outsider bets, 4 best bets for you to go and attack the US Open at Torrey Pines. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please do subscribe, like, share all the Ginger Bets Golf Betting Insight content with your fellow golf enthusiasts. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment. I don't think we've had many comments. It would be good to get a few. It's major week. You guys are all keen. I'm keen. Let's have some chit chat in there. Tell me who your best bets are for the week, and tell me who you think will win the US Open if it's not one of the 8 players mentioned just now. Thank you for listening. Bye now.